Hello, I'm Tom Bailey, and today I'm joined by Liz George, who is the founder of the Liz George Wellbeing Centre and a qualified CBT Therapist and Councillor. So, Liz, hello, and a very warm welcome to today's episode.
Oh, good morning, Tom. It's really good to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me.
I really appreciate your time. So, whereabouts are you in the world right now?
I'm actually in London, in South London, a place called Crystal Palace, where the football ground is.
Yes, I know it very well. Incredible. Thank you so much. And let me now get onto the subject of Liz in more detail. So, Liz helps sales professionals who work in a very stressful environment to manage their stress and their anxiety levels. The title for today's episode is How Salespeople Can Cope with Stress, Anxiety, and Burnout. And Liz is going to show us how to do that in just under 7 minutes.
I certainly am, Tom. I'm looking forward to it.
No pressure at all. So, question number one for you today is, who are your ideal clients?
Well, typically my ideal clients are highly effective salespeople who are working in a pressurized sales environment, but typically they haven't figured out how to manage their stress and the emotional impact that selling can very often have on their lives, especially their work-life balance.
And when we think about these stressed out salespeople, what is the biggest challenge that they currently face in their life?
Many will be struggling with feelings of burnout, which is very common when working in the sales industry. And this burnout can be best described as an emotional and sometimes physical state of distress, which can be caused through a period of prolonged and unmanaged stress. And very often they will be feeling a buildup of pressure in their work, which may also be impacting upon their home life. And they may be afraid to talk about it to anyone for fear of being judged negatively.
Great. So we've got this pressure at work, maybe they're not hitting their targets. We've got the impact at the home life. It's being bottled up. What are the kinds of impacts this typically has on somebody physiologically or psychologically?
Well, in their life, stress can cause many psychological and physical problems. So, for example, many common mental health problems like anxiety and depression are a result of stress. And also there's the physical symptoms, such as a constant feeling of being exhausted, those sleepless nights, which of course can affect someone's ability to focus or concentrate. And business people and sales professionals who are stressed may start to drink a lot more as a way to cope, or eat more or less, or smoke more. They may not be taking care of themselves or getting any regular exercise. And in their business or work life, of course, stress can really hinder their performance. And at worst, people can end up losing their capacity to carry out their jobs and are signed off work by their GP with work stress.
Of course. So if anybody listening resonates with any of these points here, what's one piece of advice that you might give to them to really help them solve this problem?
Well, one important piece of advice would be, if the pressure is building up, you're starting to feel stressed and overwhelmed, talk to someone, whether that's a trusted friend, a family member, your GP. But if you don't feel that you can talk to any of these, reach out to a professional who is specifically trained to help you deal with your stress effectively. But whatever you do, don't suffer in silence, because this is a really big mistake.
Yeah, of course, completely understand. And obviously you've been doing this for a few years now, so I'm sure you've built up a library of content and resources. Is there anything in particular you want to give away to somebody to help them solve this challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, I do have a full library of resources. The essential guide actually on how to boost your emotional well-being in 5 easy steps from today. You know, these 5 strategies contained within this free resource, when it implemented, will make a significant positive impact on sales professionals' mental health and well-being. Of course, the other thing is, and this is available from my website, as well as an opportunity to book a free 20 consultation call. If people are struggling with a problem with stress, they can actually book a call and I will give them advice, some free advice on how they can manage that. And they can get the free resource and also book a call from my website, and that's www.lizgeorgewellbeingcentre.co.uk.
Great, thanks. The Liz George Wellbeing Centre.co.uk. You can get hold of that resource, the 20-minute call, and obviously navigate across to that now. I'll put the link in the show notes, and you can go and download that guide today. So moving on slightly to a slightly different topic, what would you say is your greatest failure that you've ever made over in life or business, and what impact did it have on you?
I would say that going through a stressful time in my own life, when I actually spent the first 8 years of my career working in a pressurised sales environment as PA to sales director, and I was working very long hours, which meant I had absolutely no work-life balance. I became depressed and I reached a breaking point, which was when I visited my GP and he signed me off with work stress. But I suppose the biggest mistake or failure, if you like, was that I let the stress carry on for too long. And when I look back, Tom, at that stressful time in my life, I wouldn't have allowed myself to carry on enduring the stress. It just so happened that this stressful time then became the catalyst for me making a career change. And that was the point at which I retrained to do what I do now. And so, of course, I now consider myself really lucky to have a career that I feel passionate about, helping sales professionals to cope with managing stress and helping them to break free from anxiety, stress and burnout.
Fantastic. It was always meant to be. So the last question from me today is, what is the one question that I should have asked you that will also bring some great value to our audience today?
Well, the one question you could have asked would have been, could I give the listeners 3 top tips for managing their stress?
Yes, and please do.
Okay, well, firstly, it's going to be really important to be flexible with your demands and expectations you place upon yourself. Secondly, stop saying yes to take on more work when you really want to be saying no. And thirdly, make time for yourself each day. And that might be starting with something small, for example, incorporating into your routine something for you. It may be some exercise or a brisk walk, but these are a great way to distress. So if you implement these 3 tips starting from today, it's really going to make a significant difference and positive difference to your stress and anxiety levels.
Fantastic. Some incredible tips to end on. Thank you so much. And thank you again for your time today, Liz. I really appreciate you being here for this episode.
Thank you so much for having me, Tom, today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have a great day.